This football season could go down in history, not just for the usual drama and surprises, but because it may finally bring an end to some of the most agonizing, drawn-out trophy droughts the sport has ever seen. Just months ago, Newcastle United ended a staggering 70-year wait for silverware. It was a moment of pure catharsis for their fans, a reminder that even the longest waits can come to an end. But that might just be the beginning. The football gods seem to be in a generous mood this season, because more curses are on the verge of being broken. Let's start with Harry Kane, the man who's become a symbol of brilliance without reward. For years, Kane has been the epitome of consistency, professionalism, and goal-scoring excellence, but somehow, the medals have always escaped him. No trophies with Tottenham, no silverware with England, just near misses and heartbreaks. But now, at Bayern Munich, that narrative might finally flip. Bayern are edging closer to the Bundesliga title, and Kane is leading the charge. If they secure it, Kane will finally lift his first major trophy. Not an obscure cup, not a preseason friendly, a real, professional league title. And for him, it'll mean the world. Ironically, the club he left behind might be on the cusp of their own redemption arc. Tottenham Hotspur, a team whose last major trophy came back in 2008, are still clinging to hope in the Europa League. Some wondered why Ange Postecoglou wasn't sacked when their league form dipped, but the answer is clear. The board still believes in the project, and more importantly, they believe he can deliver European silverware. With only a Swedish underdog standing in their way in the semi-finals, Spurs fans are starting to feel something dangerous: hope. If they make it to the final, they'll be favorites. And if they win it, they'll not only silence critics but finally end a trophy drought that has loomed over them like a storm cloud for more than a decade. Meanwhile, just across North London, Arsenal are on the verge of doing something even more historic. Their Champions League semi-final berth has electrified their fanbase. For the first time in years, they genuinely believe they can go all the way. Arsenal have never won the Champions League, something that has haunted them since their painful final loss in 2006. But this season, it feels different. The team is mature, balanced, and hungry. If they get past the semi-final, they could very well lift that elusive trophy and etch their name among Europe's elite in a way that generations of fans have only dreamed of. But if Arsenal stumble, the door opens for another cursed contender, Paris Saint-Germain. Despite years of dominance in France and obscene investments in talent, PSG have never won the Champions League. For a club of their stature, it's the glaring omission from their legacy. This season might be their best shot since that infamous 2020 final loss. With a relatively balanced squad and fewer egos than before, they look more like a team than ever. If they reach the final and Arsenal don't stand in their way, it might just be the French club's time to finally lift Europe's most coveted prize. Back in England, the FA Cup is also ripe for a drought breaker. Aston Villa have been flying this season. With Unai Emery at the helm and the squad playing at a level not seen in decades, Villa fans are starting to whisper about trophies again. The FA Cup, a competition they once dominated in the early days of English football, could be theirs again. A win would mark the end of their own long, painful wait. And they're not the only ones. Nottingham Forest have quietly built one of their best seasons in recent memory. The club, steeped in history and famous for their back-to-back European Cup wins in the 70s, has lived in the shadows for too long. A run to the FA Cup final, and possibly winning it, would be a beautiful resurrection story. Even Crystal Palace, should they somehow pull off the impossible and lift the cup, would end a drought that spans generations. That's the magic of this season: everyone's got a shot, and the stories write themselves. And it's not just in England. Over in Italy, Bologna have become a surprise package this season. Their league form has impressed, but if they manage to win the Coppa Italia, it would end another long-standing drought for a club that has lived far too long in the background of Serie A giants. It would be another reminder that in football, patience sometimes pays off, no matter how long it takes. This season feels different. It feels like a season of redemption, of second chances, of finally putting an end to years, sometimes decades, of frustration. For clubs, for players, for fanbases, this could be the year they tell their grandkids about. The year where curses were broken. The year the waiting finally ended. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the trophy droughts that could finally come to an end this season, make sure to hit that subscribe button. There's so much more football storytelling coming your way. Moments you might have missed, histories that deserve to be remembered, and narratives that make the beautiful game truly beautiful. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and join the journey.